At Alteryx, we want everyone to experience the thrill of solving, but that thrill doesn't happen until the end of the problem-solving process. The beginning of any project starts with a question, which turns into many more questions. For most problem solvers, the question usually comes in a state that seems straightforward, but is unsolvable as presented. Alas, you are the one who will answer the problem because the buck stops with you. But where do you start? And how do you ensure that the answer you come up with is the answer, and not something only as valid as the next person's stab in the dark? The first thing to do is unpack the question. This means thinking deeply about the question, the source, and what it will take to answer that question in a way that is beneficial to the person asking for information. If something is unclear, don't dive in and worry about that later. Instead, ask questions to make sure you are on the same page as the person asking for information. Once you feel comfortable with the question, start defining the items that you know will be part of the answer. What information fields must be included for the answer to make sense? Once you've listed those critical fields of data, you're ready to move on to the next step. An often overlooked step that is critical for success is defining what success looks like. What is the end state of your solution? If you can't articulate what the answer looks like, how will you know when you've finished solving the problem? Is the solution a list, a map, an action plan, a number, or taking immediate action? But the form your answer takes isn't the only consideration crucial to success. Definitions of fields and metrics are critical to any true understanding, and most people take for granted that others share their definitions. Simple terms like sales or revenue seem self-explanatory, but it's always a good idea to clarify exactly what the data represents. The final consideration when defining your success is time frame. This doesn't mean how long will it take you to get back with an answer. Rather, this refers to how often will this problem need to be solved. Is this problem one that needs to be solved each month with fresh data inputs? Or is this a one-time problem that you won't touch again? Will the input files add fields in the future that aren't available yet? Thinking about these factors will inform the way you design your solution to maximize your efficiency. At this point, you're ready to begin shopping for information. Odds are, you don't own all the data you need to solve this problem. Actually, there's a high likelihood that no one person or department owns all the data you'll need. Fortunately, you've already got your shopping list from when you considered what information was critical while unpacking the question. Check items off that list when you have the location of the data and you've ensured you have the required permissions to access that data. Knowing who else has access to the data might be an important factor as you progress. But what happens when no one has what you need? If you find data that is close to what you need, assess the possibility of altering that data to suit your needs. If no data is available, or you can't trust its source, you may need to search the web for third-party datasets, or involve your IT or webmasters to set up collection of the data required. We have arrived at the one and only step most folks use when doing what they call problem solving. Sequence the steps. In this phase, you begin manipulating the data you have to get closer to solving your problem. Start by identifying what you can get rid of straight away. The data sets you've identified are bound to include information you don't need to answer your specific problem. Eliminating those items early on will make it easier to manipulate the data you are interested in and won't tax your resources or sanity after they've been removed. Next, determine what needs to happen to the data you've kept. Do you need to organize it, combine it with other data, or perform a calculation? Regardless of the problem you're solving, you need to take it one step at a time. Each action you take gets you closer to the answer, so don't stress about making the wrong move. You may realize that there are more steps to solving your problem than the ones you listed. If you need to go back to the beginning of the process, that's okay. Keep going and don't get discouraged if you have to go through this process more than once to solve your problem. Several eureka moments later, you'll find what you seek and enter the final phase of problem solving. Reap the rewards. It wasn't easy, but you got your answer, and you know how to get it again if necessary. Now you can use your time to analyze the results and apply the insight available. Truly informed decisions can now be made because you not only have the answer, but you can explain where it came from and get it again at any time. You can share that information with decision makers or convert your solution into other forms like visuals or web portals, which make the results available to the masses without need for explanation.